Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Sooklal. I'm joined by James Baird today. We're here at Smokey and Bunty's on the Avenue. And of course, you know, the games are down to just 4 teams and now one is out. Croatia took on Argentina today and it ended 3-0. James, what do you think about this game?
Well, this was a very interesting game. It promised so much. Maybe didn't deliver in the end, but, you know, when you come down to the semi-finals of the World Cup, you expect heroics, you expect fireworks, and we probably didn't really get it today.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we've had that all throughout the tournament, so maybe we're expecting too much, you know?
I don't know, I also, James and I, we did our preview, you could check that out. I was expecting, honestly, a bit more of a challenge from Croatia, and I'll be honest, from the analysis side of things, before the first goal was scored, and we'll talk about that because we know there's a penalty and so on. Croatia, we all know how they can play. Brozovic, Modric, Kovacic, Perisic and so on, but also the goalkeeper as well and the defenders. They are a team that deserve to be here, and admittedly James and I both were worried that, you know, Croatia could have sprung I wouldn't say a surprise, that's unfair to them, but I thought they could have given a bit more of a challenge. What it looked like is Scaloni had a game plan. He went with the back 4. We were worried about Tagliafico. He went with the back 4 in the midfield. You know, he had Paredes, which was an interesting, he added some energy, I guess. But what it seemed to me, James, is like he made a decision, okay, I'm going to try to out-hustle those guys, use some young players, Paredes and so on, and maybe try to throw Croatia off their game, which stopped their fluidity. But there were some moments, but, you know, what do you think about that tactical approach by Scaloni?
Well, his tactics were interesting because we spoke about this before the game. I thought Tagliafico had a fantastic game, first of all.
Yeah.
Brilliant performance for him. But I thought the fact that the midfield 4 that he chose, obviously DePaul, Paredes, Fernandes and McAllister, it was more like a diamond at times, you know. So when I first saw it, I was a little worried for Argentina, and I thought that's going to give too much space to Croatia. But it worked absolutely magnificently for Argentina. And the one thing I would say about this game, they won the game in attack and transition, because 2 of the goals, the penalty, which we'll talk about in a minute, but those goals came from when Croatia were attacking and they weren't able to get back in time from their point of view to defensive transition, and from Argentina they were defending and then the attack. So the attack with pace, and the Croatian players were just not able to handle it, and they looked at 2s and 3s, they were all over the place. And as I say, that's how the penalty came about, and that's how the other goal came about as well. So from a Croatian perspective, they'll be very disappointed in how things went. I think the goalkeeper, he does catch the player, you know, he does catch him, but it's, to me, otherwise it's a soft penalty because there is contact. But I think it threw off Croatia at that point. Livakovic, and they will be disappointed how they responded after that. Ultimately, I think Argentina were fantastic. Messi was a little magician, like we remember before. He danced around. How he got that last goal was fantastic. You know, danced around through the defence, cut it back, and Alvarez was an assassin in the box. I mean, he's a fox in the box. I mean, wonderful. And he's a player that, we talked about this before the show, his transfer market, you know, value will skyrocket tomorrow, because obviously he's at Man City. He's not getting a lot of game time there, but wow, he is going to be something special in the future. Correct.
You know, usually he gets overshadowed by Haaland and so on, but that's another discussion. But let's take a look at all the goals. So obviously, we spoke about the penalty. You know, I'll probably take a closer look when I go home, because it was, I mean, it's no big secret I'm an Argentina fan, but I'm in analysis mode now. So there's a lot of discussion about the penalties, but that penalty decision. So folks, you can let us know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think it was a soft penalty? Do you think it changed the complexion of the game? But to me, I think it was going to happen eventually. The way how Argentina was playing, Croatia set out with their 4-3-3 as expected. You know, Perisic and so on. I think, to be very honest, Croatia kind of ran out of gas. I think the pace and the way how Argentina pressed, that was one of my concerns, as I mentioned in the preview. Check it out, where I was worried about Tagliafico's ability to handle the attacks down his side. He was looking a little shaky, but he was solid in this game. Paredes, his introduction, you know, he was injured coming towards the end of, well, not the end of the season, heading into the World Cup for Juventus. And, you know, he did look a little bit nervy in the Dutch game, gave away some crazy fouls and so on. But he added that energy, I think, that really threw off the 3 guys. And then Brozovic came off. And to me, it was 2-0 then, I think. I'm not sure, I could be wrong. But when he came off, to me, that was a sign that the engine that is Croatia, these three guys need to work together for it to work. So they complement Modric.
Yeah, the steam engine ran out of steam today. I mean, we saw it with Modric coming off near the end of the game. I think Kovacic didn't have the best of games. Brozovic, we know how good a player he is, but they just did not have that drive. I think for the first 20 minutes, they knocked the ball about. Their movement was excellent. Their passing combinations was excellent. And then they just got sucker punched with the penalty. I mean, and I have to say, from a player's perspective, it hit them hard, and they just were not able to kind of get over that. And then the next goal came, and that was it. I mean, at that point, I remember messaging somebody on my phone and saying, game over.
Yeah.
No matter what Croatia threw at them at that point, it was game over. And I feel sorry for Croatia because this is a team that's been put together. They're a fantastic team. They have some aging legs out there, but Coach Dalek has to be given a lot of credit because he got to the World Cup final last time around. He's got to the semi-finals this time around. So he's a coach who should be in demand after this tournament, whether he stays or goes. So again, good job from them. They'll be disappointed not to make it to that final hurdle, but they still have a third, fourth place playoff.
Yes, and like I said, they can hold their heads high because they did really well in their last World Cup. These guys are up there in age, and they're kind of... I've noticed something in this tournament, James. We're quick to write off players, Ronaldo included, with their age. But look at the age group of the high performers. Modric, Messi. Although Ronaldo didn't have his best tournament, he's still a top player. So it shows, if you really take care of yourself, which is another discussion we'll talk about after the World Cup about, Ronaldo and Messi and so on. But to me, for all you footballers out there, and people, athletes and so on, to me it was a nice... This is off topic, of course, but it's good to see not just physicality, but the footballing IQ of these guys come through in this tournament.
I'm pretty sure, because this is not the last time we've seen these players.
Sure.
There's a Euros coming out in 2024 for the European, obviously, ones.
Yeah.
There'll be a Copa America. So, even although they say this is Messi's last World Cup, it's Ronaldo's last World Cup, I've got a funny feeling they could sneak in there again. You never know. know. And with the speculation I'm hearing today about Mourinho and Portugal, you just never know. So, at the end of the day, we've had a great World Cup, and there has to be a lot of credit to the teams, the coaches, and all the players. This game didn't necessarily live up to the hype, but at the end of the day, they still have one more hurdle to overcome, Argentina, to get their hands on that big prize.
Yep, and like I always tell people, it's one game at a time. But we spoke about the penalty. Let's talk about, Julian Alvarez, his performance. That second goal and the third goal, he basically ran at the Croatian defense, and it was, I think, Pep Guardiola's pressing showed you that, the rewarding for the press, because it looked at one point in time that he kind of messed it up and it bumbled, and then he kept going. It bounced fortuitously into his path. If he wasn't pressing, I don't think he would have gotten that, and then he got that goal. What do you think about that goal?
Well, it's just pure persistence. It's like the whole Rocky Balboa cliche, and they're using that, I think, for obviously Morocco, but when you keep fighting, you have that determination, and that's what he had when he ran at the Croatian. I think it was Guardiola he ran at. He knew he was not going to come off second best, and he did not. The break of the ball did come, and he was able to finish it. But at the end of the day, good players, they say players make their own luck, and that's what he did. Yes, you could say it fortuitously bounced up, and he was able to get the volley, but in some respects, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was pushing, he was fighting, he was, scratching, clawing to get that ball, and he did it. And then, in the same sense, the second goal as well, he's in and around that box. It's a fantastic piece of play from Messi.
Yeah.
Like the old Messi of the olden days, as we know, he danced around. He looked like there was no way he could get the ball back in. Yeah. A nice cutback and a wonderful finish. And as I say, I think this is probably the emergence of Alvarez, and he will be a huge player for the future.
Correct. That goal, basically that layoff Messi did. While we were looking at the game, we had a couple fans here, folks. We have a lot of fans here. Just reminding you, everybody's relaxing now after the game. But his ability to keep the ball, create passes, attract players to him in tight situations like that, and then have still, I actually didn't know he still had that burst of speed to run past a 21-year-old, I think, to me was shocking. And then have the composure, which I should not be surprised. He's been doing it a while now, to lead things off, because that could have easily been a shot he would have taken. The game would have been 2-0, but that calmness to kill the game off at 3-0 really cemented, his performance in this World Cup. Messi has been really, I think he saved his best for this tournament. It's far from done. I've watched too many World Cups to start. I think people shouldn't celebrate yet. We don't know what can happen. But overall, the tactics, we spoke about Argentina. Do you think Croatia could have done more in this game, or they did their best, but it just wasn't enough?
I think with the aging players they have in there, I just think, and as I say, with what happened with the penalty, I think, to be honest, if the penalty did not happen at that moment, if they'd have got into half-time, it was 0-0, the complexion of the game would have changed, it would have been a little different. But I think, the psychological part of the game weighs heavily on players, and the fact that they were, 2-0 down very quickly, it was game over for them. And we saw, I think, a shot of Modric coming out at half-time, and you could see it on his face. He was kind of, he knew that the game was virtually done.
Yeah.
And they tried. You have to give them a lot of credit for that. They did try, but inevitably, there's no way they were going to come back from a 3-0 deficit. And as I say, you have to give a lot of credit to Argentina. Croatia, they've definitely not been here to make up the numbers, but it was just a step too far today.
Correct. Folks, if you want to come on down for the final, we have a whole bunch of events taking place.
Well, one of the things I was just told there, so if you buy 5 beers, you get a 6th one free, so wow.
Oh, wow. Lots of giveaways. We have our FIFA giveaway that we did already. We had some of our hampers that we gave away. Check out on Instagram. We will throw a couple in these videos as well. If you look in the videos, search and you shall find it. So you have to scroll through the videos. Watch always to the end, folks. We always have a little surprise, so be sure to come on down. The final is going to be fun. I know a lot of people, their teams have went home as well, but it's a World Cup. It's a World Cup.
And just a last word on that game there. Messi delivered the knockout punch, which you'll see right now.
Oh, wow.
And he hit me in the cheek there, as you see him there. But wonderful performance, and we hope he can bring that for the final.
Yes. So before we move along to the message from the wonderful folks of Biotech, we don't know who they are going to face. So obviously Morocco take on France tomorrow. We have a preview with that. I'm going to probably touch on that a little bit after the commercial break before we move forward. But, James, Argentina started with a loss. They came into the tournament as favorites. And each game, I don't think I've seen in all their games, it was highly dramatic. There were moments where it looked like they were going to throw away the game. There were moments where they looked like they controlled the game. We saw that against Australia. We saw that against the Dutch. But in this game, I think they may have calmed their own nerves a little bit. Because to be honest, even though it was 2-0, a lot of people were expecting something to happen because of what happened, but it seems like they're growing. Doesn't mean they'll win the World Cup, but it does show a tremendous amount of character to start off like that and then continue to grow as the tournament goes along. What do you think about that? And Scaloni as well.
One of the things I would say is, Scaloni's performance to me is getting better and better. He's making the right substitution at the right time, but when you have a goalkeeper as good as Martinez behind you, he breeds confidence. And yes, he brings that egotistic side to the game that people maybe don't like, but from a goalkeeping perspective, goalkeepers thrive on being the best, I went through it myself, so you have to believe you're the best, and he fully believes he's the best. And I think it helped today. For example, I thought, obviously Molina came off, but I thought Romero, Otamendi to me, again I'll say it, has been one of the best defenders in the tournament. He's an aging player again, and as I say, we talked about beforehand, Tagliafico.
Tagliafico.
Tongue tie there.
But
he had a fantastic game today.
I was
a player
worried.
that we thought was probably going to be the weak link. So
we were shocked because we highlighted in the preview, Tagliafico was magnificent. He has been struggling throughout the tournament. He hasn't had the best season, but he got it right when it matters. So I guess Scaloni knows what he's doing mostly, And
I think two other players for them that has been excellent is DePaul. This game was fantastic. He was momentous actually, and I thought McAllister. Now it's not because he's got a Scottish name. I'm saying it, but he gives you that passion, that drive, and I've been really impressed by him too.
Yeah, and you have to remember that when you mention McAllister, this is a midfield and also the left side that had to be kind of adjusted just a couple of weeks before the tournament. They lost Giovanni Lo Celso, Nicolas Gonzalez, Acuna. A lot of people don't know this. He was carrying an injury heading into it. He almost didn't make the squad. Then you had to readjust the midfield because Paredes was injured. So you had, instead of DePaul, Paredes and Lo Celso, which were their main players that they were comfortable with, they had to rebuild. And McAllister and Enzo Fernandez came in brilliantly. Young players. McAllister actually had some concerns, but he proved me wrong. And kudos to them. Their transfer values are probably going up. I think somebody mentioned to me that Liverpool is already on the verge of signing him. We'll see. We have lots of football things outside the World Cup to talk about as well.
There's so many players you could say after this World Cup are going to get big moves. As I say, he didn't have probably the best game. Livakovic, the goalkeeper for Croatia today, but I can more than guarantee that he's getting a move after this World Cup because he's been phenomenal. And there's been so many players, as you say, you mentioned McAllister. Even the older players are some of them that have popped in performances that is of the top drawer. So even at their older age, you know, they could be a last move for some of them too.
Correct. And, you know, obviously, I used it only once today, I think. We're going to talk about his stats. Usually we have Kevin here, but James, you know, there's an interesting stat I want to talk about. So there's the obvious ones. You know, Argentina got 60 point. According to this, which to me looks a little bit crazy, it says 39.1 possession for Argentina and 60% for Croatia. But the one I want to look at is the recoveries. To me, for Argentina, the recovery and the ability to press was key in how they destabilized the Croatian team. And I'm seeing here for both teams, 60 for Argentina and 65 for Croatia.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I wrote down a stat while I was watching it, which I found very interesting. Because although, yes, Croatia lost the game, right?
Yeah.
Their ball recovery in terms of speed getting it back was pretty good compared to Argentina.
Yeah.
They were recovering the ball between 12 and 15 seconds after losing it, whereas Argentina were between 17 and 21 seconds. So it just shows you, although Croatia were down, they were definitely not out. They kept fighting back, and it just shows you again, or gives a lot of credit to the team that they kept going, they kept trying, and they didn't just lay down and take it.
Correct. So, folks, let us know what you think in the comment section below. We already know one of the finalists. Argentina returned to the final. We'll see how it goes. And, let us know what you think. We also we'll do some FIFA predictions as well. I didn't get to do one today because of time and so on, but we'll get it done. So we're going to move along. We're going to hear a lovely message from the kind folks of Biotech. So, James, we spoke a lot about the Argentina-Croatia game. We have our preview. I wish you could check out the full preview that we did for France versus Morocco. I'll put a link in the description below as well. You could check that out. But we'll have a quick discussion. But before we head into that, James, tell us about the lovely trip that we have for the people.
Yeah, well, we have that lovely trip for 2 flights for 2 to Tobago with our friends at Venture World Travel. You come down here and enjoy the final with us on Sunday, the 18th. You'll be put in that prize draw and get the chance to win those lovely tickets. As I say, you want it, I want it, all the fans here want it. And there's more than that. We have 6 pairs of shin guards from our friends at Armourflex. We have 6 packs, which we've given out a few already.
Yep.
We have things from Angostura. And remember, Stag are also sponsoring the finals with us. So there's going to be a big screen TV in the back. It's going to be like a fete. There's going to be lots of people, lots of shenanigans going on, games, fun. And as I say, it's just going to be a great time. So whether it's your friends, your buddies from football, your family, come down here and enjoy the game and say hi to me and Andre.
Yes, come on down, have some chats. Let us know what you think in person.
If you don't like what we say, come and tell us. That's the fun of it all.
Like, guys, let's chat about this. So, moving along, before we move along, this watch, I have this one. I also have the digital version, brought to you by SJG Watches. As you can see here, there's all the teams. So even if your team is not there, I know the real diehard fans, and you all know who you are. We'll support your team no matter what happens. Even when the World Cup is not going on, you'll get your Portugal watch, you'll get your Germany watch, your Argentina watch, and we'll have here down at the final. So if you want to grab some, and if you come to Smokey and Bunties, they're knocking off a couple dollars here, so you're getting it for $200. So they have this one and the digital ones, as you see. And if they don't have the team you have, you can make some special orders as well. So come on down, check them out, and I really love it. I mean, I wear it every day since the World Cup has been going on.
And it has him here right on time because he's usually always late, so there you go.
So, it helps. So, folks, come on down, lots of giveaways. So, James, we'll just do a quick touch on, because we have the full preview just to end things off. France versus Morocco. How do you think that game is going to end tomorrow?
Well, I have a different insight into the game now because I was really looking forward to Morocco making it all the way to the final.
Yeah.
But I think when I see how good Argentina were today, to me, honestly, if I want to put my heart out there, it has to be an Argentina-France final. Just from a fan point of view. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Morocco. They've been absolutely phenomenal. They've got some great players, but I just think it may be a bridge too far against Argentina. Mm-hmm. So I think realistically, just, for that point of view, I think it'd be great to be a France final. But, I could be completely wrong because Morocco could come and dispose of the world champions, and then you have to really take them seriously. So they've got one more hurdle to overcome. They have some great players, and Nesri has popped up with some big goals. They have Amrabat in midfield. It's a great story, the fact that he and his brother, came through. Wonderful player. I mean, they've got Siaz, a defender, who will hope will make it back in time. Bono, the sweetest thing, we have all those jokes about
Our favorite guy.
But it's going to be a very interesting game, and I mean they definitely won't roll over. I think it'll probably be a little bit more competitive than the game today, because remember, I think a lot of these Moroccan players speak French as well, so it's going to be a very feisty affair between the French-speaking countries, you know. So
yes.
it'll be interesting. As I say, all in all, I think France will probably just be too much for them. But again, what do I know?
Yep. Same here. I was going to say the same thing. We have our preview, which is a little bit, it's probably definitely way more detailed than this, but we'll have to wrap things up due to time constraints. But I think as well, I think France will, it will be a difficult game, and eventually France will overcome. I don't think it's going to be easy at all. But I'll throw a little bit of some trivia out there, because I know you fans know this. We have some really smart fans. But put that in the comment section below and let me know there is a PSG connection between two players on this team. And in fact, PSG is going to have representatives in the final no matter what happens. So let me know in the comment section below the 3 PSG players that could possibly end up in the final, where on both sides, no matter who goes now, they're going to be PSG people. So you can do some research. I'm sure all of you already know this already.
There's actually a few of them, you know.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to give them 3. If you have more, go ahead, put it in there, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. So folks, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow us on Instagram, interact with us. We'll be doing stuff after the World Cup as well. We have our FIFA predictions. We have a lot of cool things. James and I, going to stretch our muscles and go for the final stretch of the tournament. Just come on down.
And the other thing to think about too, we've told you all this before, it's going to be football fancy dress, so make sure you get your outfits ready, whether it is your team shirt, whether your face are painted, whether you want to wear your little shorts, your big shorts, whatever shorts it is. Make sure you get yourself ready for the final. And then there's all those wonderful food choices it could be. Is it going to be French bread and frog's legs? Or is it going to be the steak from Argentina? Could it be tzatziki and all these things from Morocco? We don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what that day brings. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody down here at the bar. It doesn't matter if that's not your team. Come down and support us. Come down and enjoy the game. And come down and have a really good time.
Yes. Argentina fans, you know where it's at. I'm usually here by myself. If you want to come and give me moral support, I'll need it. Come on down and have some fun. Have some fun. And for the non-drinkers out there, we have drinks. We have, the Smoky and Bunty's famous orange juice, which I love. Trust me.
And we even have zero alcohol beer. So, I mean, if you really want to, have non-alcoholic beer, you can even have that too. Or there's water.
Correct. Oh, yeah, good old-fashioned H2O, folks, as Ronaldo says. So, folks, we're going to end this off. Like I said, follow all the instructions. We have lots of giveaways. You're seeing the giveaways, so you have incentives to come on down. James, let's end the show like we always do.
Well, after a wonderful day of football for this man here, make sure you all tune into the greatest show on earth.